Hello everyone. Today let's see the antiretroviral drugs, the classification in detail. The classification is according to their mechanism of action. Now let's simplify this table with the help of some mnemonics, some story diagrams and story mnemonics. So let's start with the first group of drugs, that is NRTI, or which can be, now this N, nucleotide reverse transcriptase inhibitors, or they can be nucleoside reverse transcriptase inhibitors. Now in nucleotide reverse transcriptase inhibitors we have tenofovir, and nucleoside reverse transcriptase inhibitors we have many drugs which are very confusing, but they are important to be known. So let's look at this story diagram. Let's understand this story first, and let's see how we'll remember the drugs with the help of this story. So we have our girl whose name is Tina, and Tina has a Dadaji whom she calls Abba. Now this Dadaji of Tina is very ziddi because he says that I am trying to become a star for my granddaughter Tina. Now he thinks that he'll become a star for Tina only if he owns this big car, this limo car. Okay, now let's understand the drugs. So Tina stands for tenofovir. Tina's abacavir. From Dada we will remember didanosine. From Ziddi, the Dada is Ziddi, so we'll remember zidovudine. I am tri, so the drug is emtricitabine. So tri. So instead of I, we'll remember it as E. For star, we'll remember the drug stavudine, and by limo we'll remember the drug lamivudine. Okay, so the drugs falling in the group of NRTI are tenofovir, which is a nucleotide reverse transcriptase inhibitors. The nucleoside reverse transcriptase inhibitors are abacavir, didanosine, zidovudine, emtricitabine, stavudine and lamivudine. Now let's see this in the classification. Okay, so Tina was our girl who had a Dadaji whom she called Abba. So Abba is abacavir. Didanosine, who is Ziddi, and says that I am try to become a star, and to become this star he thinks he needs to buy a big limo car. Now let's come to the next group, that is NNRTI, which is non-nucleotide reverse transcriptase inhibitors. Now here this N is new, and in Marathi new is also called as Naveen, or this N can also be said to be extra, and Ifa rhymes with extra. So this new Naveen in Marathi, so nevirapine, Ifa virens and extra or etravirine. Also there is an extra drug dilaviridine. Now let's come to the third class of drugs, the protease inhibitors. Also NNRTIs can also be remembered that in the spelling of these names, the vir, okay, VIR comes in the center of the name of the drug. Okay, so etravirine, okay, dilaviridine, Okay, so there are two ways to remember this in an RTI class. Now coming to the protease inhibitors. Protease inhibitors end with navir. Now sometimes it can be confusing which drugs end with navir or only vir. So I had remembered with the help of this Hindi statement कि अगर कोई प्रोटीन नहीं खाएगा तो वो वीर नहीं बनेगा, दैट इज वीर और शूर नहीं बनेगा. सो आई रिमेंबर्ड इट एज ना प्रोटीन खाओगे ना प्रोटीन खाएगा ना वो वीर बनेगा. So the protease inhibitors, no protein, okay, so protease inhibitors और वो नावीर बनेगा. So the drugs included are saquinavir, indinavir, ritonavir, nelfinavir, lopinavir. Let's come to the fourth class of drugs, the integrase inhibitors. Now here it is in the spelling itself. So integrase has T-E-G-R-A, tigra in the spelling. So all these drugs have tigra in their spelling. So raltegravir, elvitegravir, dolutegravir. Don't concentrate on this vir because many drugs have this vir and it may be confusing later. Now let's come to the last class of the drugs, that is the fusion inhibitors or the entry inhibitors. So here this boy is trying to inhibit the fusion of this rock and this tide. Okay, so the boy is not allowing the rock and the tide to fuse. So the drugs Mira Virok, rock sounds like rock, and here if you were tide has tide in its name. So rock and tide, they are the fusion inhibitors or entry inhibitors. Now Mira Virok is CCXR5 inhibitors, and if your tide is GP41 inhibitor, which is present on the viral so this outer blue color is GP120 and the inner brown one is GP41. Now in HIV plus hepatitis B co-infection, these antiretroviral drugs which can be used they can be remembered with the help of LET, L-E-T. So we have lamivudine, emtricitabine and tenofovir. So the drugs which can be used in HIV and hepatitis B co-infection are LET. I hope this has been useful and now you won't get confused with the mechanism of action and the drugs that belong in this antiretroviral drug classification. Thank you.